Little contract for approving you all, so
What are you not crazy
don't
about?
worry.
You need to be in charge
There,
of
so
it.
I apologize.
You do it. That's a good idea. Tyler. I'd love one.
I think Susan agrees too.
What?
We'll get started.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to our November Elizabethton City Schools Board of Education meeting. We have some special visitors here tonight. We have a lot of our students from the high school. Also want to make mention, we have Boy Scout Troop 516 here this evening. They're working on their citizenship and community badge. And they're here to observe us, and I think they're going to do a project. So looking forward to seeing what you guys choose to do your project on, and we're very happy you're here. So welcome. If everyone would, please stand, and Dr. Gardner will lead us to in the pledge and moment of silence.
Okay, let's have our moment of silence. Thank you. Attention. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It's time for citizens to speak in accordance with Board Policy 1.404. Anyone wishing to address the board, please come forward and state your name and your address. Seeing no one, we'll move on to Dr. Gardner. I think we've got some recognitions.
We do. First of all, we'd like to have our golf team representatives, if you would come on forward. And
we want to take an opportunity to recognize these two fine, upstanding students. I'll say a little bit about Christopher in that I didn't coach him, and he went to the state. But I've known Christopher all of his life and been fortunate enough to see him around the golf course and his family, and Christopher does just a wonderful job. The great thing about these two individuals is that no one was going to put in more time than they did on the golf course. And, you know, it's not what Coach Harden and I do as much as it is them being willing to get out there and work and participate. Now, as far as Bailey Montgomery, she was our #1 girl this year. She made it to the regional golf tournament last year. We had high expectations for her this year. She made it to the region again, only to be sick on the day of competition. Bless her heart, she hit her hip in the pro shop and put a big bruise on her hip, and then she goes out and she's got over 100-degree temperature, but she goes out and competes and does a great job. I think there's a lot of untapped potential, you know, with Bailey. If she chooses to play golf in college, I think her best years are before her. She can hit it as far as most of the guys on the team. Her putting got a lot better this year. I think the sky's the limit as to what she wants to do, if that's what she chooses to do. And she likes my cooking too, so that's good.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations also, Bailey. I was there the day, and she missed the state by just a couple of strokes. So in the condition she was in, we are very proud of what she done and what she's done for the school the 4 years. Girls golf's come a long way. I was the first coach of girls golf, and you were lucky to get them to show up. And it's changed a lot over the years, and we've got some good kids coming back for girls golf, and I think the future is really bright for us. Let me say about Christopher, from day one coming in as a freshman, this is one of the hardest working kids I've ever seen. He was sometimes too hard on himself. Very proud of what he's done. He's represented the school, other than throwing a club or two, right? You have to. He's represented the school real well for us, and we're real proud of him and real thankful to get to coach him. As Mr. Hutchins said, in golf, you don't do a whole lot of coaching. You just make sure they're where they're supposed to be, and they have to put the time in themselves because it's such an individual sport. But Christopher's proven time and time again what happens when you do put the time in. I've spent a lot of great times with he and his family. He's got a great family that's very supportive and does everything to give him the opportunity to succeed, and he's worked to get there. We spent some great times, we've spent some stressful times, haven't we? Both years in the state tournament, we had to wait because he shot such a good score in the district. We had to wait till some of the last scores came in to see if he got to the region. And I think I walked about 4 miles and probably run the tires off the golf cart down at Woodlake, trying to see what the other scores were coming in. But he was the last one to qualify. They only take 4, so it's a big deal to get to go to the state tournament. And we're real proud of him. And I'd like to present him with this certificate from the TSSAA. It's signed by Mr. Boatman, our principal, and it's also signed by Bernard Childress of TSSAA for participation in the state tournament. Congratulations.
Just a second.
It's time to approve the consent and regular agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Do I have any questions or comments on the agenda? All right. Hearing none, item on the floor is to approve the consent and regular agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Dr. Gardenauer.
Okay, we're our fine gentlemen in uniform. Would you all come on up here, and we're going to talk a little bit about something we're starting at our high school with the support of our armed forces and our community.
Thank you, Dr. Gardenhauer. It's a privilege to be able to represent this program to the city. Started this program about 3 years ago at Happy Valley High School, and it's grown ever since. Now we've got all 4 county schools involved. Since I switched from the county to the city, I've seen a need also within the city schools for this program. So I want to tell you a little bit about that. The East Tennessee Over Mountain Cadet Corps, the ETOCC, is a program designed to assist the student in their career decisions, teaching them respect, teamwork, being task-oriented, and leadership skills. The ETOCC is a military regimented program to give the structure to the student. This in return will create an environment for the student to focus on their career decisions and put them on the path to success. The program also attracts the type of student who may currently not belong to a sport or a club. It gives the student a sense of pride to be a part of something that represents their community, state, and country. The results of the Carter County ETOCC program has been enlisting students into the Navy, the Army, the Marines, surely the Air Force will follow soon, as well as enrollments into the University of Tennessee, Middle Tennessee State University. Completion of this program has also gone to successful careers in private sector. Students that are participating or have successfully attended the program will stand out as leaders and servants to those around them. The investment made today in these 2 students will come back to the community, to the state, and to this country. We have seen a lot of growth. As you see, I've got representation here of recruiters and others who have been a part of the program, who've seen the results of the program and putting kids in places where they wanted to be. We even got a few students here this evening that are part of something else that want to be a part of this program. So it's a great leadership program, and I've designed this where it funnels the kid in from being out here, thinking here, to where they know they need to be, as truly as to be servants, most of all. And when they become that, they find their niche in life, and they go from there.
Thank you. If you just hold on 1 second there, I do want to make a couple comments. Number one, we also have not represented tonight, Rick Walters and the American Legion are going to be helping us with sponsoring some uniforms and making opportunities for our children. But I can't think, having been to some of our days in Stony Creek, up there with the Army National Guard, seeing what they do, and we have people in gray as well. We have commanders there working with our students. But the whole goal of what we're going to try to do is expand the program that's currently there and really make it something that's high quality for our students. They may want to pursue a military career. They may want to go on and learn leadership skills that they can use in any career that they choose. And so we want them to have the opportunities. Right now, we're thinking there are about 38 students that are interested so far, and we need to think that that number will grow, but I can't think of a better opportunity for our students to be around people who are successful and leaders. So thank you for being involved with our kids.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate you. Okay. A few other people to speak tonight. I wanted our PR calendar, if Becca would talk a little bit about that. And then also we're going to talk with... Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Because my position is new and still evolving, I wanted to just give you an update of kind of where we're at and where we're going with public relations. Thus far, we have increased and improved communications with the media, using our website, using social media. Obviously, we launched the Facebook page, and depending on the day, we're reaching between 5,000 and 10,000 people on there still. So that's been a big success. I've been covering, promoting, and helping plan events like the Back to School Bash, the Bartleby Banquet. We have, I think, improved consistency on how we're using the websites, and I've been working with webmasters there and principals to just make sure what works for their school, that we're doing that the best we can. I've given you guys kind of an overview of this, but I guess there's just a couple major things I wanted to touch on. Right now, we're in the process of acquiring a new CMS provider, which is a content management system, so that's a new website. Other than making it a more attractive layout and easier to use for our staff and easier to access for people visiting the site, that will give us an intranet for staff, so we have a public front, and we also have an internal system for them to communicate better. It'll also ensure that we're compliant with ADA standards. So I don't know if you all know, there have been a lot of complaints with websites of schools across the nation, so that would ensure that we're already in compliance with that, actually a step above what the government requires. So another major thing that I'll be getting to in December, hopefully, is getting our district brochure published. That's going to be like a snapshot of the district. It's a magazine that I hope will probably be accessed primarily online, but we'll also have that printed and in the chamber and in City Hall. So that's something prospective residents can look at, but also current people can understand just a general overview fact sheet of who we are and what we do and why it's successful. There's also some other kinds of marketing materials listed there, but priority right now would be getting the district brochure finished, and then following that, getting the branding done. That has kind of fallen on the back burner right now due to getting this launched. So also there I listed communication goals. I think the most important thing is advocating for staff and students and what's happening internally, as well as promoting external communication with the media. So let's see. Otherwise, you guys can just read through that. I don't want to occupy too much time. I think you have a pretty good idea of what we're doing, but do you guys have any questions?
You're doing a great job.
Yep.
Thanks, Mr.
We appreciate
Pruitt.
it.
I've enjoyed, it's been really helpful what you put on Facebook, because it reminds me of things that are happening. It's really great to see the students' pictures, and I mean, you know, everybody kind of lives in that world now, so it's great that we're using that to inform people of what's going on. So,
Awesome.
appreciate it.
I've heard that from a lot of people, so
Yes.
that's good. Keep
Agree.
up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Newman? She's going to inform us a little bit on our social studies book.
All right, good evening. We have started a social studies task force to work on this TCA code that is geared for us to make public our syllabus for social studies and other content areas. So we have asked, it's for 6th through 12th grade classes and courses. So we have asked our social studies teachers in grades 6 through 12 to serve on that task force, and myself and Dr. Gardenauer, as well as our curriculum coaches and Ms. Peters will serve on that task force as we work to get this work under way. We have worked on it our last professional development day, which was November the 8th, and our teachers have started working on their pacing guides and we're looking at the standards and unpacking the standards. So we'll move forward with that work. And you have an agenda of that work and what our goals are for that. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer what I can.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we did want to not let this month go by without mentioning the fact that our board has stayed intact. And we have a great board who love children and work really hard and work together. And so I'm elated that our entire board is back and able to work together for the next 2 years and some for the next 4 years. So, and hopefully beyond that. We had the Assistant Commissioner for Education come in this month. Actually, last week we had a great time talking with our kids for their Bartleby project, and we enjoyed meeting with him, and he took a lot back and emailed me this week and said some of the ideas that our students had shared were going to be germane to what they're doing in the future of reforming high school. So that was really neat to hear. Thank you for allowing me to go to the TSBA conference, and I was joined there by Dr. May and Ms. Boer, and we had a great time. We learned a lot, and did a lot of work and just a lot of thinking about what we can do to make our school system better. So it was a great opportunity there. While we were there, we were able to witness our band win their state championship, and we will be recognizing them next month. And Ms. Googe maybe will sing for us. We are going to ask her to maybe come and sing and open us up next month as well. We're working right now on telemedicine. We will be having a conference call with Mountain States this week, and working on how to get the agreement worked out, but we're very close. I think we have a few small details to work out, but we're looking forward to putting that on next month's agenda. It's time again also for us to work on our 5-year plan, and we're going to dust that off and get back to work on that. So we'll be working on that over the next couple months and hopefully have a finish of that close to March prior to our budget season. All of you are invited. The board are invited to come to December 14th at 11 o'clock for our anniversary for T.A. Duggar, our 75th anniversary. I know Mr. Little is working very diligently to invite people, but we want to make sure that the board, if you're able to come, we'd love to have you on that day.
What was the time again?
11 o'clock on the 14th of December.
Thank you.
Mhm. Our board retreat at this point is set for December 7th at 6 o'clock, and we're going to be going to Pigeon Forge, and we'll be meeting at the Music Road Inn and Hotel. They have a room reserved for us to meet for that, and they gave us a special deal, $50. I thought was great. So we'll be working with them on that.
What time?
We will leave here around, I'd say we'll probably leave around 4:15, and we will be there about 5:30 and start and go 5:30 to 7, and we'll hopefully be back by 9 o'clock. We're going to try to eat dinner as well while we're there. Also, you have received tickets for Peter/Wendy, which is the high school's drama department is putting that on for the 18th and 19th. So please bring guests and come. We'd love to have everyone from the community come and watch that and support our kids at the high school. And the last thing is, I just want to say Thomas Davis was here this evening and wanted to make sure there were no more questions before we put him on to be approved next month at our general board meeting that we have. Is there anyone that has any questions for him before we put him on next month. He's been great and worked with us very well, and look forward to working with you in the future. I think that's all.
Go ahead and let Mr. Wright.
Oh, very good. Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Swearing in tomorrow. Everyone's aware the time on that's noon, high noon, at the
High
courthouse. High noon at the
To be
courthouse.
sworn in
And so
City
at
Hall.
City Hall. At the courthouse, yeah. So that would have been get a little bit too much there. Okay.
Go ahead and let Mr. Wright.
And Mr. Wright, come on up.
I'm going to stand over here at the side so I can look at the PowerPoint. But greetings from West Side, the land flowing of milk and cookies, literally. So, but anyway, we've had a great start this year. Last year was sort of a weird year, I think, just with the testing that didn't happen, and trying to do it with computers. And so this has been more of a normal year, and been able to get down to educating our children, which is what we want to do. But we started the year out with adding a new mini library, and Mr. Hurley wanted me to make sure and tell everybody Eastside had theirs first, and so but his doesn't have a bench. But anyway, but this was the idea of Tabitha Wandell and her friend Michael Lowe in the background there built it, and Cagney Lacey or Bennett, she was able to put books in it with the Imagination Library. And then we had the addition of our Octoball Court, and the thing that was great about that was the community involvement. We had people who had no children at Westside that put in a lot of money for that, and had parents do the rest. And so that's been great. And I'm going to try to slow that down a little bit. Third Grade Academy is something new this year at Westside. And what Third Grade Academy is, it's a big transition year. That is where they go from self-contained class into departmentalized, and so this is a big transition year for them, and so we wanted to help students bond. We moved them, was the first thing we did, all into side by side, so the teachers are real close together. There's not much time in transition. They can talk a lot, they can collaborate a lot, and so first thing we did is we took the kids on a field trip and did some bonding. And you can see they're doing some problem-solving skills and building unity. And that picture there where we're in the river, that was just minutes before we got into a hornet's nest, but that was memorable. But we went for a hike and things like that, so that's been good. But we want them to be successful. Third grade's a very important year. And so we also added a cross-country team this year. It's really a club. And so we had probably about 40 students that would come out twice a week and run, and we did about 5 different meets, and so and that's from my love of running. And so Westside Invasion of Fort Watauga, our entire school goes down to Fort Watauga, and they have different stations set up for them to where they teach them about how Elizabethton was a very important part in America. And so Camp Explore, that's all 3 elementaries go to Camp Explore. And we've already been there this year, and that's just a great, it's in Greenville, but it's a great time of just fun, but they also learn a lot. They get to, as you can see, that was, I think I went back, there's Bailey Van Huss there with the snake, and they're canoeing and just doing all sorts of other things, but that's just a great time for our 5th graders, though. They do that. And now the playground progress, I'll try to stop this. So I can talk about it a little bit. But we currently have about $25,000 raised, and we received our 501(c), and that is great. Regina May, your sister-in-law, was phenomenal on that. Normally it gets sent back and you have to redo it. Well, she did her research, and it took her a long time to get the application done, but it went through the first time and it went through really fast. Wow. And so we didn't really expect it till like the end of the year. And so that means we can go ahead and start applying for grants. And a lot of these grants, they won't even let you apply until you get the 501(c). And so, so that's been great. And let's see here. And we have received an anonymous matching grant of $20,000, and I think that with the $25,000 we have will put us at least to the point to where we can purchase this material. We'll still have to raise some money for installation and surfacing, things like that. So, and we're hoping to get this in by next year, so students next year can be playing on this. And once again, it's going to be handicap accessible, and so it will replace some equipment that is just really bad. It's not safe, really. The maintenance guys have come out and done some things to make it safe for the kids to play on right now, but we need to get rid of it. And so I'm excited about that. Then after, hopefully that'll be this year. We'll get the playground done. Then we're going to work on technology. And what we have right now, technology-wise, we've got 2 laptop carts. We've got 4 e-portal carts. They don't get used much. We've got 4 Chromebook carts and 1 classroom desktop full of desktop computers. But we hope to next year, it will be our project to have all 3rd through 5th have a device in all their classrooms. And then the next year, we want to have everyone in the entire school have some type of Chromebook or some type of device. And so our parents have decided that's what they want to do for us. They want to make sure that, and we'll continue to use that 501(c) to write grants for that type of thing. And so, and I would encourage any other schools that want to get their 501(c) to talk to Regina May to be able to make that process a lot easier for our schools. And so,
John, can I interrupt you? Who is in charge of the playground?
who's in charge of the fundraising?
Yes.
It is the PTO. And so
Who's your president?
that is Dr. Elania Hare.
I couldn't remember her name, but thanks.
And Regina May is really sort of headed up the becoming a PTO. There was a lot we had to write bylaws and things like that, and then she's headed up the 501(c), and she will also probably head up the grant writing. We also have a student from ETSU that'll be doing an internship starting in January with their allied health department, and she's going to be writing grants for the physical fitness type things, so also the playground, and so I'm excited about that. So hopefully we'll be able to get this completely paid for. So, and as far as academics, the entire school system, reading right now is the big push, and so of course that's going to be at the top. Now we do other things too, but reading is big. If you come to Westside, you're going to read. And I've sent you pictures of me doing Mr. Right Fear Factor to try to get them to meet their AR goals. And so, but the reading's going to help them in all other subjects, including math, especially math right now. And so, but we also have lots of fun too, besides the academics there. And so just a couple of pictures of some of our dances and getting ready to Friday night. We're doing Night at the School. So we'll all be spending the night with, I think one year we had about 130 students all night. And so it's not a fun night for me, but we do it for the kids. And, you can see Miss Snodgrass there was getting kissed by a frog, so I hope she got her prints. But anyway, but thank you guys for all that you do, and I'm glad you all are back. You've been a wonderful board.
Thank you.
Anything else? I wanted to just do a quick report on the TSBA conference. Dr. Gardenauer and I also attended the leadership conference, and Dr. Mike Rutherford led that. It was Friday night, Saturday morning. He's with the Rutherford Learning Group, and you guys have been to conventions when you're just begging the clock to move, and this was not the case. This guy was great, and one of the things, he kind of took a different approach, and he divided up into 4 sections, and one was attracting, developing, and retaining teaching talent, and so he really wanted us to really think about what our teachers do and understand what a hard job they have, and the whole point of this leadership thing was positive. Make things positive. Let's be positive to our teachers. And so he just, talked about that a lot. And then the next section was on our administrators, because as our teachers are important, so are our administrators, and reinforced what a difficult job you guys have, and how it is our role to provide encouragement for you and a good foundation and just really helped us to understand, again, what a really difficult job you have. The next day, we looked at skillful coaching, and that's more for you guys in dealing with your teachers. And so much is talked about critiquing and criticism, and his whole thing was talking about finding something somebody does really well and having short conversations about that and being super encouraging. And then the last thing was creating great places to work so that we can keep our wonderful teachers and keep our wonderful administrators. And so that was just it was really, really good. He's incredibly excitable and very engaging, and I learned that sometimes Dr. Gardner and I didn't get the seat we wanted, and we had to sit right in the very front row, and you get called up front and have to participate. So
That's right.
yes, Dr. Rutherford and I had a very spirited conversation about Starbucks, and it's, you know, he actually was more enthusiastic than I am, which was kind of fun. So, and then also one of my things I appreciated the most about TSBA is that they present two sides of arguments. So the ending, they had Commissioner McQueen talk to us about the importance of testing and gathering the data. And then they had a gentleman from Apple who is their VP, and he's in charge of education, and he was saying, no, you need to do this. And it was completely, they said two completely different things, but it was great because they showed us two completely different viewpoints and trusted us that we could take that and think about it and then work towards helping our school systems. Also, Dr. Gardner joined me in the delegate assembly where we vote on some things that we're asking TSBA to lobby on our behalf with the legislature. And Dr. Gardner was very helpful because he would sit there and go, vote for that, don't vote for that. Vote for that, don't vote for that. So that was really helpful, and it got really lively in there, which was the first time
Very
ever because it's
I
usually the
think
most
that's
boring
lobbying,
thing.
isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Gosh.
It was helpful because otherwise I'm sitting there going, I don't know, maybe. And so he was helpful, and it got really rowdy, and so it made the time go by really fast. So I was glad I had a witness to share in that with.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, one poor guy did not do well. But anyway, that was my thing. I encourage you guys to try to go next year. I know it's hard to leave home for a few days, but it's really worth it. It's Tammy Grissom and Randall Bennett send their hellos, and they also sent you guys a calendar. And but really, it's a really a great thing. Dr. May came and joined us for a little while, and I think we talked him into coming back and staying the whole time next year. So thank you all for letting me go. It was great. And Claire, we missed you. All right, time for the regular agenda, so let's get to that. So the first item is ratify approval of emergency purchase order issued to Train for repairs to 8 gas electric rooftop units not to exceed a cost of $40,000. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Dr. Gardner?
We found that we do an inspection every fall of our HVAC units, and we found one particular building, well, it was actually a 2, but one particular building had several units that were having some issues with the heat exchangers. So we went in there and asked the board to ratify that so we could go ahead and order that. So we feel that they're already being installed, and we feel that we will be in great shape by the time cold weather gets here.
Which is going to be Monday.
Which will be Monday.
Anybody have any questions or comments? All right. Item on the floor, ratify approval of emergency purchase order issued to Train for repairs to 8 gas electric rooftop units not to exceed $40,000. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve SAAS hosted software license agreement, Skyward, and business association agreement not to exceed a cost of $54,000 in year 1. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
The goal of this is to bring our work closer together. Right now, we have 3 different systems managing time and attendance, and managing our HR, and managing our local government that we do general ledger. And we want to bring those together to where when we enter an employee, we enter them one time, and we're able to follow that employee the entire time from application to employment, and then track them afterwards, and so for what they need to be paid. So this will help us business-wise. Keep in mind that the price tag is $54,000, but we are paying money every month to maintain the 3 systems that we have now. So the other benefit of this is that our student management system is owned by the same company, so that will even further help us there.
It's nice when they all fall under the same,
Umbrella.
yes, absolutely. They work well together. May I have
So-
any questions? Oh, sorry.
Excuse me. So what I interpreted was this is replacing something else? It's not in addition to, it's replacing something
It will
else?
be replacing those systems that we have.
Okay.
We'll just be migrating. Our goal is, if it's approved this evening, we would migrate starting now and really be ready to go. Our goal is April 1st, before our main hiring season comes into play, and we would have things ready to go by then. So part of the cost is migrating all of our data from the past to bring it forward and put it in a system where it recognizes it, and we work the bugs out, and then we're ready to move forward from there.
How's that data transfer done? Is that
They
personnel time?
Well, one of the things, they will do our data transfer for us.
Oh, good, okay.
And so our people will be here to help work out the bugs, and maybe if they do not understand a situation, we'll help out and assist, but they will be doing that for us.
What's the lifetime on these systems? I mean, what are they advising? You change over every 5 years, you change over, or is there a?
Well, right now, our current contract for Skyward for our student management, it was a 10-year contract. So we're going to come back. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep what we have, and it'll be relevant for us when we move forward the next time that we have. So we're saying we're about 2 years into that program, so 8 more years at least, and then we'll look at that point.
If there is a breach, a data breach, do they hold liability? I've been trying to find that in the contract, but
Even though, when you look at that, we are responsible to have protections in place. But what this does is it's an added, well, Mr. Trent, you can help me out on that, but this will be an added level of protection for our people. We obviously have had, our systems there, 3 different ones. We're entering data into all those. If we bring it under one, I think that we can manage it a lot better to make that. But I think that the security and protections that they have in place are better than what we currently have. So it will help.
I guess my question is just if a data breach occurs and protected information is released, this happened at my work, so,
Yeah.
A large number of people's banking information was compromised or potentially compromised. There's identity theft primarily is what I'm worried about. Who holds the accountability, the liability for it?
I think we will always hold the accountability for that. I think that we can buy the best product to help us assist with that, but if the biggest corporations in the United States that have the most money to protect it have
Exactly, yeah.
breaches, we're not immune. We want to be the best, in the best shape that we can be to protect our people within the environment that is constantly changing every day. So they do have as good a protection, I think, as what you'll find on the market for that, but in the end, we will always be responsible.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right, item on the floor, approve SaaS hosted software license agreement, Skyward, and business association agreement not to exceed a cost of $54,000 in year 1. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve property license agreement between Georgetta Robinson and Elizabethton City Schools. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, what's before you is an agreement. If you do not recognize the name, the Georgetta Robinson is Miss Baker's daughter, and the property is right across the street, and so she has allowed us to use that property, and what we're going to do is try to be good stewards of that, and the agreement's just to make sure that we have things in place. Our goal is to put 10 parking spaces over there, which would alleviate issues on the street and would help us when we have training going on here to accommodate our teachers and other people coming in for the community and board meetings and such. And then in return, we'll work that out. I think we're going to do some mowing. That's what she's requested us to do, a little bit of mowing. And we have talked with Joseph Greenwell about adding that to the contract to do that. So we'll be doing, if you approve this evening, we will then go to the Planning Commission and we will gain their approval to be able to move forward, to be able to use that property and then start to work on that.
Ms. Baker would be proud of that.
Miss Baker, we're calling it the Baker Annex. That's our place. That's what it's
I just
will
had
be
a
called.
question about 3.3. It talks about the gravelled area is going to be bounded by a barrier that will be effectively prevent drivers. I wondered if Georgetta was going to have some input onto what kind of barrier you're going to put up
Okay.
on their property.
The barrier's already there.
Oh,
If you
okay.
walk over, the curb is
Mhm.
actually in great shape the whole way there, and it will barrier stones from coming out. But one of the things that we found out, we met with the city, and John Hartman came, and we have to have a setback of 35 feet before we can put that in
Mhm.
there, so that also will help us protect that. But there's 35 feet is quite a distance back in there, so
So
we-
she's happy with what you've done?
yes.
Okay.
We've sent her a rendering of where we would be parking
Mhm.
and that type of thing, and she's signed the agreement, said she was happy to let us use it.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? All right. Item on the floor is to approve property license agreement between Georgetta Robinson and Elizabethton City Schools. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next item, approve property purchase in the amount of $85,000 for the land adjoining Harold McCormick Elementary School to be executed by the BOE Executive Committee. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Yeah, wonderful.
This, obviously, we put some information out to our employees, but we have a gentleman who's a graduate of Elizabethton High School and a product of our system, and he had some property that he knew we may be interested in, and he contacted us prior to putting it on the market to give us an opportunity to look at it. And we, of course, feel that this is an absolute strategic importance to us since we're landlocked at Harold McCormick, and give us an opportunity to look at our future there.
Mr. Wampler just gave us a thumbs up, which is equivalent to a dance, so, I know you have a lot of, I know there's different things go on there, and parking is at a premium, so, yeah, that would be great. Anybody have any questions or comments? All right, item on the floor, approve property purchase in the amount of $85,000 for land adjoining Harold McCormick Elementary School to be executed by the BOE Executive Committee. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item, approve creation of full-time position for PR services and grant writer to replace the contracted services position. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
We have seen the benefits of having a person part-time in PR, but one of the things that we feel like is that we could add another responsibility, which would be grant writing, and make this a full-time job. We feel like this is both, our goal is to raise enough money in grants to pay for the salary in our PR services job, and we think that we can do that very easily. And so we'll be after someone to come, we'll be posting the job, and then hope to have someone named by December.
Anybody have any questions or comments? All right.
Let's hope our current person applies for this job.
I can't speak for her, but I hope that she would.
I'll second that. too.
You second that? Okay. We'll make that a motion. We hope you will.
I vote against that.
You want the job?
Good job, yeah.
You said
Get
that
to work
without,
with me all day
you
long.
said that out without leaning back.
I
You
know.
gave up your
No,
tail.
I didn't. I trademark.
Item on the floor is to approve creation of full-time position for PR services and grant writer to replace the contracted services position. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion enthusiastically carried. Next item, approve resolution by Elizabethton BOE in support of the City of Elizabethton consideration of renovation of T.A. Duggar Junior High School. Can I get a
So
motion to
moved.
approve? Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
This resolution is just in support of what we're trying to do at T.A. Duggar. And, you know, one of the things I'll say about our city council and the mayor coming out, holding off on refinancing the bonds to make sure that they consider the school system. I just think that I don't know about you all, but I just felt that was a very great leadership, a show of leadership from our city council and our school system to say, this is the vision that we want for our community. Our schools need to be great if we're going to attract businesses here, if we're going to be a bedroom community maybe to Johnson City, but have people live here and pay taxes and raise their families here. You know, that's what we own. You know, if we own that, we can be the best place to live in the Tri-Cities. I think we are the best place to live, but I think that we can improve that for us. And I think that the city council obviously saw that. They had a motion and a second, and they reversed that to make sure that they were able to consider us for T.A. Duggar. And so the resolution, I plan to deliver that tomorrow to the city manager and to the mayor when we're at the swearing in and say, thank you, number one, and number two, we're all in support of it. I think all of our people in town are in support of it. So I'm just glad that we're here, and I appreciate your consideration in signing it along with me.
I just have one consideration.
Sure.
The sixth whereas, okay, Rita, how many did you say the other night?
13.
13?
Yeah, 13, you were
Where it
counting.
says T.A. Duggar needs new restroom facilities, STEM classrooms, and handicapped accessibility. I would like to make a motion or whatever is necessary to add science labs.
The STEM classrooms that are there will incorporate that because it's science, technology, engineering, and math. And so that's kind of the key term, but we're with you on that. I think that encompasses that. If you want to change the language, we can look at that.
I understand what STEM is, but I think science laboratories are probably something separate from the STEM program. But I'm not exactly clear on that.
Well, we can change that.
I'll second your motion to add that science
Okay.
labs and then put another and then it would,
Okay.
we have to vote on that and then vote on the resolution, I guess.
You're just going to insert STEM after STEM classroom science laboratories.
And accessibility
Right.
and handicapped accessibility
Yeah.
and just put it right after STEM classrooms.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll do that.
And I want to say too, just as to reiterate and echo what you said, Dr. Gardenauer, is that our mayor showed great leadership and our city council showed really, you know, we worked with them on the stadium project, and we saw there was a desire to do what was best even then. They were concerned about the prioritization of the stadium versus the T.A. Duggar project, but I think our city council has recognized the need, and it's just the partnership is stronger than it has ever been. Kurt's leadership has been integral into making certain that we were able to recognize the opportunity to maintain the funding that we got through the half-cent sales tax, and also to make sure that that's earmarked for the schools as it's been intended by the public. So I just want to say, when you do deliver this, make sure you thank them on our behalf.
I will do that.
Second.
Yes. Also would ask that people continue to thank our city council when you see them, make a point, call them, and just tell them how much we appreciate the fact that, you know, I think back, it was about 8 or 9 years ago when, you know, they allowed us to put the half-cent sales tax on the ballot, and then the voters came out and voted themselves a half-cent sales tax because they recognized that the school system needed to use that money for capital improvements, and we've done that. And then the excess sales tax money has been absolutely critical to us to to purchase things that we need. That way we don't have to come to city council and ask them and wait for them to deliberate. It gives them lets us choose how to spend that money, and by their giving us that excess money, and then the bond money. It's just been great, and I think we have been very good stewards of that money. But, I agree with Dr. May. The T.A. Duggar project was the one they were very concerned about, and we were too. It was just a matter of we had to build the stadium first. And so one of the things I'm excited about is we promised Elizabethton 3 projects, and we want to deliver 3 projects. And so this will allow us to do that. So when you see them, just love on them and tell them how much we appreciate them, because this is great. And then you get to say lots of whereases.
All right, you ready?
So, you want to read it?
Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Okay.
You can do a practice run.
A resolution by the Elizabethton City Board of Education supporting the renovation of T.A. Duggar Junior High School. Whereas the Elizabethton City Board of Education is responsible for providing the local system of public education, and whereas T.A. Duggar Junior High School is 75 years old this year, and whereas T.A. Duggar Junior High School is a historic landmark at the center of our community, and whereas T.A. Duggar Junior High School facility is used by more than 700 people daily, and whereas the T.A. Duggar Junior High School renovations were a part of the 3 projects originally considered by the Elizabethton City Council for renovation, and whereas T.A. Duggar Junior High School needs new restroom facilities, STEM classrooms, and thanks to Ms. Peters, science laboratories, and handicapped accessibility, and whereas T.A. Duggar Junior High School needs to have a campus restored to be aesthetically beautiful and which is intrinsic to the community. And now be it resolved that the Elizabethton City Board of Education, as it follows, the Elizabethton City Board of Education supports the renovation at T.A. Duggar Junior High School, and witness thereof signed by these hands on the resolution of this day. And so we will deliver that tomorrow. I appreciate all of you for working on that and supporting it, because we need it.
Does Clara need us to sign this tonight?
We may make a quick change, and then we'll come back and redo it.
If all the board members are going to be in attendance at the swearing in tomorrow, we'll do it then, whichever, if they don't want to wait tonight.
I'll be there.
I'm going to try to be there. I have surgery, though. If I
Okay.
can get out of surgery, I'll be there. I have surgery already scheduled that's been
I'm glad
scheduled.
it's not
What we'll
mine.
do is we'll make a quick change to it.
I'll try to get
We'll have
done.
all of you sign. I think Phil will be there tomorrow, and then we'll sign it tonight and then take it for Phil
I
tomorrow.
will come up in the morning and sign it. I've got to be somewhere tonight.
But Tyler would
First.
swear at you anytime, wouldn't you? You'd swear at
Yes,
him. Yeah,
yes,
I thought you might.
Yes, I swear all the time, y'all all the time anyway.
So the item on the floor is approved resolution by the Elizabethton BOE in support of City of Elizabethton consideration of renovations of T.A. Duggar Junior High School with the change of adding science laboratories. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Last item was an addition, and it is approved on first reading, revision to Board Policy 1.200, method of election of officers. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second, third.
How many times have we tied tonight?
All we are going to do, our former board policy, we'll vote to suspend it, but based on when the election happened and when the swearing in happened, our board meeting was prior to that, and so we've moved our officer elections to next month, the same thing that the city did because of the same reason last week. And we've just cleaned up the language a little bit at the same time to make sure that in the future it will be after the election. It'll be the first regular meeting after the board meets after the election. They'll take the oath of office.
Do you have any questions or comments? All right. Item on the floor is to approve on first reading revision to Board Policy 1.200, method of election of officers. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. The next regularly scheduled board meeting will be Tuesday, December 13, 2016, 6:30 here in the Mac Pierce Boardroom. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Oh, same to you. Thank you. I was going to tell you. I was going to call Carol.
They just need Phil Jones.
I know, I
Just to
She was out of
say
town.
hello and tell her I'm thinking.